Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome back to STVCastle Chess, episode number 9. I know it's been a long time since I've done something like this, but this is something that I want to start regularly doing again. I've just had a lot of time restraints lately when it comes to making these kinds of videos, so bear with me when it comes to that. But anyway, this is Stephen Vitt coming back to you again with chess-related material for this video, STV Castle Chess, Episode 9. This is featuring the Dutch Defense Classical Variation. And this was a recent game that I played. It was about 5 days ago uh, from March 26th, so it was March 21st. It was against this guy named Bakali1, the username. And it's one of your typical games where as black, I played the Dutch defense, and there are certain ways to play the Dutch defense that you have to be aware of. And so I titled this specifically. So I titled this specifically "Position First, Material Second." Now I will get into more of a thorough explanation about this in another episode of STV Castle Chess, but for right now, to keep it in a nutshell form, um, when it comes to positioning, I believe that matters more than getting material. Now, don't get me wrong, material matters. If you're up in material, that is a good indicator of where you're going in the game. Don't get me wrong. But position has to matter first. Because if you're not in the right position to checkmate your opponent, it doesn't matter how much material you're up by. Not really, anyway. So keep that in mind. Let's just get this game started here so that we can get going. First off, Bakali won my opponent. He has white. He plays d4. That's queen pawn's opening. Next up, my response is f5. That's the Dutch defense. You play f5 to start the Dutch defense. Move 2, c4. e6, I play. Next move, white plays e3. I get my bishop out easily. Bishop e7. Now he plays knight f3. Knight f6. Bishop e2. He gets his bishop out because he wants the castle as early as he can. I go ahead and castle on my own end, kingside castle. Now he moves his knight again to knight e5. He wants to take control of the center. He wants to have influence here with the piece. I easily push the knight back with the pawn move, d6. So he goes back to knight f3. I guess with his initial move of knight e5, he was trying to gauge how I was going to respond, if I was going to play in the center or not. Well, obviously I wanted to, so he goes back to knight f3. I play b6, get my pawn out so I can fianchetto the light square bishop. Now he goes ahead and castles kingside. No problems there. So far, so good when it comes to development for both of us, both my opponent and myself. I go ahead and fianchetto the bishop, like I said, bishop b7. Pawn h3 is Bakali one's next move. Now I swing my queen out to e8. Now obviously it's just moving by one space, but initially my thought process by moving that queen one square was just to start inching it towards the opposing king. Because when you're moving pieces and you know where your opponent's king is, you have to start moving your pieces towards your enemy's king. Because moving your pieces all over the place and not having a direct choreographed attack, it's going to lead you into some problems. Knight h2. Knight b to d7, so I get my other knight out. Development matters. Light square bishop, f3. I guess he wanted a bishop trade. I understood that, but I say no by playing c6. Knight c3, he gets his other knight out. d5. So knowing this, I go ahead and take more control of the center. The center four squares. They're very critical and important to have when you're playing the game of chess. It's a it's just a beginner's tactic. You know, when you're just starting out learning chess, you have to know the basics, and the basics include taking control of the center. So d5, standard move. Pawn trade, c takes d5, c takes d5. Dark square bishop, d2. Knight e4, that's my next move on move number 14. Now I'm trying to attack multiple pieces here, either the knight or the bishop. I'm trying to gain more of a stronghold in the center. Now, normally you don't want to have doubled up pawns, but in some cases you just have to roll with it if you're going to have doubled up pawns, which would have been the case here. My thought process here was to the open up this alley here for the rook. So that means the f pawn would be going forward if we were to trade pieces here, and that's fine. Sometimes I'm fine with that. That's just how I play. So bishop h5 is his response. He doesn't want to trade. He wants to attack the queen. Understand that. Bishop, queen are connected, so he can't take. So he, meaning myself, I can't take. Bishop h5, g6, I block that. Bishop goes back to f3. Bishop g5. I'm just trying to get positioning. Keep in mind, guys, this is about position. Knight to e2. Now, I'm not sure why exactly he would go for that. I don't know why he's moving this knight, to be honest with you. Especially in the heat of this battle, I'm not sure why he was doing that. So I move my queen up, queen e7. Knight g3. He's attacking my knight. That's probably the only reason why he did it. Rook f7, a3, a5, b4, b4. I go ahead and take the bishop. Knight takes bishop d2. Queen takes knight d2, f4. Now, let's pause here for 1 minute. I'm attacking two pieces, going after a pawn and going after the knight. He takes f4. Bishop takes f4. Attacking the queen. Queen has to make a decision. So queen goes up d3. That's according to my plans. Light square bishop goes to a6. And I'm okay with that because I'm attacking the queen and basically forking it, knowing full well that he can move his pawn up here. And that's what he does, b5. I move my bishop back to b7. Knight goes up to g4. I go ahead, move my pawn up to e5. Got to go back to the center. When in doubt, go back to the center. D takes e5. Knight takes pawn e5. Knight takes knight e5. Queen takes knight e5. Now, so far everything's looking good. It's very much even. The positioning. There again, guys, the positioning. Who has influence of the center? I do. Rook f to e1. He wants to move my queen out of the way, which I do. Queen goes back to d6. Knight e2. attacking my bishop. Now, here's where I had to make a decision. It was like I could go back here to e5 to attack the rook, which would make no sense, or I can just simply go up to h2 and check the king. Bishop h2, check. Okay, king h1. So what does that do for me exactly? Good question. Now it's like, yes, I know that I put my bishop in danger with all these pawns and the knight crashing down on it. I get that, but sometimes you have to make bold charges like this. Rook a to f8, connecting the rooks. I felt like it was important to do that. Now, with this pawn structure that I'm highlighting here for white, this is what I wanted to crush, basically. So, yeah, he had pawns protecting him, but pawns that could easily be exploited and pawns that could easily be broken down, as you'll see here in a minute. Rook a to f8. Move number 31. Rook a to d1. Now he's trying to get influence in the center. He probably should have done that a few moves ago. Rook takes bishop f3. Now, at first glance, you guys are probably thinking as like, okay, why did you trade a rook for a bishop? You have to pay attention to the positioning. Now, I gave up a little bit of material because rooks are worth 5 points, bishops are worth 3 points. I totally get that. But just watch. You have to watch this corner of the board here. Watch this corner right here. I'm just going to highlight it for you guys. Watch this corner. Disregard the fact that I gave up a little bit more material. Rook takes bishop at f3. G pawn takes rook f3. Okay, I know this pawn's under attack, but I don't care at this point. Pawn d4. I know it's going to be taken. So what? Queen to c4 check. Now he was trying to get me trying to get me off balance with a move like that, trying to get me moving. I mean, I kind of understood it, but it's like it's a little bit too late for that dude. So as you see here, queen c4 check. I block with my rook, and I don't worry about the pin between the rook and the king. I don't worry about that because, again, look, rook f7, rook takes pawn d4. He's focusing on my queen, but here again, positioning. The bishop and the queen are already there, and I don't need to move my queen because look at this final move. Bishop takes pawn f3. That's checkmate. That's it. Where can the king go? Nowhere. He can't take the bishop because it's covered by the queen. He can't go here because of the bishop. He can't go here because of this bishop. He's done. So that's checkmate right there. Now, when you're boxing in a king in the corner like this, you have to understand your positioning. You have to understand what pieces are involved, whether it's rooks, whether it's bishops, whether it's knights, or an army of pawns. You have to position your pieces correctly. And it doesn't matter how much material you're down by. In this case, I was down by like 2 points, but that did not matter to me. When you have pieces flowing, when you have pieces connected together like this, especially on a corner, on a diagonal, good things can happen. And that's how I summarize this. So if you like chess-related material like this on this channel, STVCastle, please give this video a like. Please support my channel in any way you can. Give this video a like. Share this video with other chess enthusiasts, with other chess players, and let them know about me. Let them know about how I play chess, and just let me know what you guys think of my material here for STVCastle Chess, and I'll be coming back to you very soon with another chess video. Thank you so much, and have a good day. Bye.